Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool and welcome to class 11 series chemistry. See, we have already done a video on class 11 chapters overview where I explained about what are the chapters that is there in class 11 chemistry and a brief introduction about them, isn't it? And this is the video on the very first chapter, that is basic concepts of chemistry. See here, first of all, let us deal with what is actually the chemistry is and what is the importance of chemistry in everyday life. Clear? Say, if I ask you to define the chemistry, how do you define a chemistry? Say, many of them who tell chemistry is the study of elements, right? And we have so-called elements in our nature. Right now 120 elements, and they are beautifully arranged in the form of a table called periodic table. We all know the basics of periodic table that we have learned in class 10, isn't it? Say, according to that, people who think that it is the study of those elements, not only the study of those elements, and these elements, what do? The elements would combine with each other to form molecules and compounds, isn't it? Say, for example, you have one oxygen atom would combine with another oxygen atom, you would get oxygen molecule. Or you have hydrogen molecule itself that would combine with oxygen molecule, and you may get a new compound called H2O. Right? See, these are the elements. They are combining to give molecules. So chemistry is not only the study of these elements that is very nicely arranged in a periodic table. It is also the study of these molecules. It is the study that involves how these atoms or elements have combined to give molecules, and it is the study of those molecules, their properties, their structure, their chemical nature, and everything. Right? Say, chemistry is the study of infinite molecules, and you don't have limited number of molecules in our nature. You have infinite, endless, countless number of molecules. So it is the study of all those molecules, nature, structure, composition, and whatnot. It is everything. Right? And where are these molecules or compounds or elements present? They are present in the matter itself. Right? So what do you mean by matter? This is not a new word for you. Say, matter is anything in the universe that occupies space, isn't it? Occupies space and has some mass. Such a thing is called matter. Are we matter? Definitely we are matters. And this chalk piece is a matter. Air is a matter. Everything is a matter, because if you take this chalk piece, it has certain mass and it is occupying some space in this universe. So I can call this chalk piece as a matter. Like that, if you see, all living things that you see from your eye and non-living things that you see from your eye, everything is a matter. Right? So I will redefine chemistry now here. I can define chemistry as it is the study of structure, composition, and properties of matter. Clear? So this becomes a perfect definition for chemistry. It's not only the study of elements, it is the study of that infinite, countless number of molecules. And where are these countless number of molecules and these elements present? Definitely in so-called matter. So they are present in everything that we see from our eyes, isn't it? So ultimately I can say, study of structure, composition, and properties of matter is called chemistry, isn't it? Say, and now can you able to tell me what is the importance of chemistry? Why do we need to study this branch of science? And this branch of science is dependent on other branches of science. All the branches of science are interconnected with each other. What are the different branches of science? Physics is a branch, biology is a branch, chemistry is a branch, right? So these are all various branches of science and they are all interdependent. One branch is dependent on another, right? And you know what? What do you mean by biology? Biology is a study of life. Biology is a study of human body, organisms body, plants body. And what does the body contain? Any living organism's body contain the chemicals. It's a matter, right? So it contains lots of elements, lots of compounds, and too many chemical reactions are taking place inside the body, right? Say here also chemistry is involved. So there is no biology without any chemistry. And there is no chemistry without any biology, right? So similarly, even our physics is dependent on chemistry, chemistry is dependent on physics. So all these branches are interconnected, interdependent with each other. Okay, so now what is the importance of studying chemistry in everyday life is? We see chemicals everywhere, right? We eat chemicals. The food we eat is a chemical only, right? And the water we drink is a chemical only. Like that, if we see morning, soon after we get up until we go to the bed, we are connected with so-called chemicals all around. They may be natural, they may be artificial chemicals, right? But definitely we depend on chemicals, right? And let us see some examples. Chemicals are widely used in the field of medicine, right? Say nowadays every disease can be cured with the help of medicine, and this medicine is nothing but chemicals. These chemicals are prepared by various other reactions, I can say. And you know, two such chemicals I will mention here. They are very, very important. There is a chemical called cisplatin. These are the things mentioned in your NCERT books. So I am mentioning here cisplatin and another medicine called Taxol. So these are the two medicines which are used in cancer therapy. So to cure a cancer, we use certain chemicals. They give treatment with the help of chemicals called chemotherapy. So in chemotherapy, cisplatin and Taxol are the chemicals which are used, right? And also there is another chemical called azithromycin. Azithromycin. And this is the chemical which is used for AIDS patients. Used for AIDS patients. Say, likewise, if we go on mentioning the chemicals, you know, the paracetamol we take when we get a fever, analgesics that we take as painkillers, you know, all these are various chemicals only, right? So chemicals play a lot of importance in the field of medicine. And now I can say chemicals in food. Chemicals in food. Even in the food industry, the preservatives that we use, preservatives, that means using this we can store food for a longer time. They are called as preservatives, and we can use food colors, right? So various other things we use in the food industry also. And the chemicals in agriculture. See, agriculture, nowadays too many different types of farmings are available, natural or artificial chemical usage farming, whatever it is, the chemicals are widely used. So chemicals are used in the form of pesticides, right, insecticides, and whatnot. You can use them as fertilizers, right? So in a different way it can be used even in the agriculture, right? Like that, if we go on mentioning, there are various industries, textile industry, paint industry, you know, every industry chemicals are used. And now we have lots of uses with different types of chemicals. At the same time, we have so many side effects of using chemicals also. Say for example, chlorofluorocarbons that we use in our refrigerators cause, you know, ozone layer depletion, isn't it? And likewise, the gases like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, these are the gases that come out from the factories. Even they cause the air pollution. You know, they are responsible for acid rain. Likewise, if we go on telling the dangerous aspects of chemicals, numerous things are there. Say one point I would like to tell you is, yes, we use chemicals for the benefit of man. At the same time, we have to limit the usage of artificially synthesized chemicals because they are more dangerous to the environment. So we have to use them in a limited way, otherwise it would destroy the well-being of mankind, right? So chemicals has both benefits as well as hazardous things also. So this point we have to keep it in our mind, and then a proper usage of chemicals may give enough benefit to a man, but when you overuse it, it would destroy the well-being of man, isn't it? So this is some introduction about the chemistry and importance of chemicals and dangerous aspects of chemicals. And now, without wasting much time, let me move on to the next concept, that is nature of matter, because chemistry is all about the study of matter, isn't it? So let us see what are the different types of matter. I mean, matter can again be classified into so many types, and let us see what are those types and what is their nature. See guys, based on the physical state, matter can be classified into three categories. One is solids, liquids, and gases, isn't it? This way of classification we have learnt it in our earlier classes also. So this classification is mainly based on physical state of matter. Physical state. Clear? Okay. So now what do you mean by solid? Say this chalk piece is a solid, board is a solid. Say solids are a type of a matter which have definite shape and size. So they have definite shape and size, isn't it? And in a solid, the atoms are arranged in a closely packed fashion. I mean, between one atom and another atom, or these guys may be molecules. See, matter is made up of atoms or molecules. So it may be an atom or it may be a molecule of matter. Between the molecules or atoms, you have lots of attraction between them. Okay, so that is the property of solids. Clear? That is the reason they have a proper shape and a proper size. Okay, and coming to the liquids, and liquids do not have a definite shape, no definite shape, but they have volume. They have so-called volume. Okay. And in a liquid, whatever the atoms or molecules present in a liquid matter, they can move. They have an ability of moving. It's because, the atoms or molecules would have a space between them. That's the reason there is no much attractions between the atoms and molecules of liquids. That's the reason they can freely move. Whereas in the solid, there is no movement of atoms and molecules. Okay, fine. And what do you mean by a gases? Say oxygen gas, hydrogen gas, which are present in the atmosphere. What do they have? They do not have any shape, and no shape, no size also. Clear? And if you see the atoms or molecules in a gas, you can see lots of spaces are there in between, and there are no much attractions between the atoms or molecules, so they can very nicely move in a random way, isn't it? And you can see the atoms and molecules of solid, how I have shown you. There's no gap between them, and they are closely packed. That's the reason they have a particular shape and they can't move. And here these guys have little attractions, and they have little spaces between each other, and they are free to move. And here the freedom of movement is too much. They can move very nicely in a random way. Say this is some basic aspects about solids, liquids and gases. Clear? Fine. And now the matter can also be classified into, mixture and pure substance. Clear? There is another classification of matter that we have already studied in our previous classes. Can be classified as mixture and pure substance. And now let us discuss what do you mean by a mixture. And mixture is nothing but a combination of two or more substances. Substances is nothing but any kind of a matter. If two or three types of matter is mixed together, then we call it as mixture. Okay, and they have been combined in any ratio. Okay, there is no fixed ratio for the mixture. Say for example, if I say sugar in water, when I put a spoon of sugar in water, it becomes a mixture. Sugar is one type of matter, water is another type of matter. This is one substance, this is another substance, and I'm combining both of them, so I can call this as a mixture now. Okay, and you can mix these things in any ratio, right? So you can add 1 spoon of sugar in 1 liter of water, or you can add one spoon of water in so much amount of sugar. There's no perfect ratio like this much amount of sugar has to be combined in this much amount of water, right? So you can mix these things in any proportion, in any ratio, then you will normally call it as mixture. Okay, and now what do you mean by a pure substance? Pure substance is a pure chemical substance where two different matters can be combined but with a fixed ratio. So here you have a fixed ratio. Okay, say for example, water is called as a pure substance. Okay, you can ask me like it's a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. No ma'am, how you will call it as a pure substance? I have to call this as a mixture. No, this is the doubt you will get. But you see, how is water formed? Water has formed by the combination of 2 atoms of oxygen with 1 atom of oxygen, isn't it? So only then water is formed. When 2 hydrogen atoms would combine with 1 oxygen atom, only then water is formed. That means they are combining in a fixed ratio. They are not combining in how much ever they want, however they want, isn't it? Say when the 2 different matters, this is one element, this is another element, both are matters only, but combining in a fixed ratio. So water is called as a pure substance, and sodium metal is called as a pure substance, oxygen gas is a pure substance, right? A single element, or it may be a molecule or compound, but if it is combined in a fixed ratio, then we can call it as a pure substance. Clear? Fine. And now coming to the mixture. Mixture is again classified into 2 types. One is homogeneous mixture and other one is heterogeneous mixture. Right? Okay. So what do you mean by homogeneous mixture? Here the composition is uniform throughout. Composition is uniform. What do you mean by composition is uniform here? Say, okay, let me give one example first. Sugar water or salt water is the example. And let me give an example here. Heterogeneous in the sense composition is not uniform. Observe the example, sand plus water. Imagine if you put 1 spoon of sand in a beaker of water, will you have sand particles throughout the water? No, right? All the sand would go at the bottom and they would settle. I mean, sand is there only at the bottom of the water. What about the top surface of water? It is pure, it's only a water. There will not be any sand. That means in entire water, the sand particles are not present, right? They are restricted to one particular area in water medium, isn't it? So that's what we mean by heterogeneous. That's what we mean by composition is not uniform. That means sand particles are not present all through the water, right? They are restricted to one particular place. They went to the bottom and they got settled, isn't it? But if you put 1 spoon of sugar in water and nicely when you mix it, what happens? You will have sugar particles throughout the water. At the bottom of the water, you have sugar plus water. On the surface of the water also, you have sugar particles. In the middle of the beaker also, you have sugar particles, isn't it? So sugar particles are spread evenly, uniformly throughout the water, right? That such a mixture we will call it as homogeneous. Clear everyone? That's all. And now pure substance is again classified into element and compound. Okay, now what do you mean by element? Element are those substances which are made up of with same particles. They are made up of with same particles. So what do you mean by the element is the pure substance made up of same particles? If you take up iron rod, okay, say at every corner of this particular iron rod, you have the same particles called iron atoms. Say this iron rod would have crores of iron atoms, but all are iron atoms only. You don't find any other atom in between, right? Say such a substance, such a pure substance which is made up of same particles. Here the particle is atom, isn't it? So matter is made up of atoms and molecules. Matter is made up of molecules. Molecules is again formed by the combination of atoms. So ultimately, what is the smallest particle of matter? Atoms. So if a pure substance is made up of same type of particles, then we call it as element. So what do you mean by compound? Compound means made up of different particles. Compound is a pure substance made up of different particles. Say for example water here. Okay, say water is pure one, but it is made up of two different elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen, isn't it? So this is some basic introduction about how matter is classified. Based on the physical state, we can classify this into solids, liquids and gases, and based on the general way, I can classify matter into mixture and pure substance. Mixture is again into homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Pure substance is again into element and compound. So this is all about nature of matter. So in my next video, we will discuss about the properties of matter. Okay, meet up in the next session. Till then, take care and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way. Thank you so much.